thanks to the support as a channel member, Owen Martin. I don't want to alarm anybody, but we have changed the tactic. Yesterday's transfer special was a delight, and we finally got Connor Egan. And he's probably not even the second best striker at the club. We're winning it all this season. I've decided. Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 9 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two big games to start off our Bundesliga season. We're away against Leipzig and at home against last season's champions, Bayer Leverkusen. If you missed the transfer special yesterday, go back and watch it. We spent a lot of money, but we also sold a lot of players, and our new look team is pretty special. Plus, Emil Smith-Rowe's still here. So if anyone wants to buy Emil Smith-Rowe, let me know, because I don't see how he fits into the new 4-2-4 system. This is our team for the game against Leipzig. Leipzig, who finished 6th last year. We've just played a cup game against a lower league team with this tactic and won 12-0. Big Kev scored 6 goals in that game. I am looking forward to seeing this in action against a decent opposition. Please don't make me sad, Football Manager. It's Ribeiro in goal, a back four of new club captain Van Veen, because he's been my player for the longest, because we had him at Burton, so that makes him captain. I mean, to be fair, he is also decent for leadership, so it makes sense on multiple fronts. But Van Veen is our captain, a back four of him, Garcia, Moorman and new boy Ferreira. Dukic alongside new boy Ayodele in midfield. And then Moreira and Carrier are the wide players, with Big Kev playing as a pressing forward. And the one that got away, who now got back again, Connor Egan, who's going to play alongside him. Of course, Egan and Big Kev were Bayern Munich reserves together this time last year. Now they're starting strikers at Dortmund. It is the natural order of things. Let's get this team submitted. We've obviously got Emil High Sky as well. He's not called Emil. I'm just going to keep calling him Emil. He picked up a little bit of a knock pre-season, so he's not going to be fit for the first couple of weeks of the season. So it does give Big Kev an opportunity to get out there and form that partnership with Egan. And of course, he is in fantastic form, having already got 6 competitive goals this season. Leipzig are playing a flat back 7 because they're boring. And hopefully our new look front four will be able to break them down. Of course, if we don't have any joy with the 4-2-4, we do have the option of removing one of the strikers and either shifting Carrier into the attacking midfield spot, or we've got Gonzalez and Smith-Rowe who can both play there comfortably as well, who could come off the bench. So we do have options to switch back to last season's system relatively easily. We also have the option to switch to a diamond if we sacrifice the winger. The wingers, Carrier can go as an attacking midfielder, and we can just bring on another midfielder. So there's flexibility within this squad that we've not really had before. And Van Veen and Garcia next to each other at the back there looks absolutely ridiculous. Van Veen is 5'3". I think Garcia's 6'4" or 6'5". Might even be 6'6". How tall is Garcia? Garcia is 6'6", and Van Veen is 5'3". And goodness me, do you see the difference between the two of them when they're together in that back four? I don't remember noticing it to that extent last season, but it's quite amusing. And I love the fact that little Van Veen is the one who gets to boss everybody else around as our captain. Make the little man the leader. It's the way it should be. Right, we're trying to defend a corner here. We are not making a very good job of it. It's gone behind for another corner. Of course, we've got lots of aerially dominant boys in this team. Big Kev, Garcia, we've already looked at. Moorman is incredible in the air, both in terms of his jumping reach and his heading. So we should be pretty good from corners and set pieces at both ends of the pitches, both ends of the pitch. But they're playing 3 centre backs, so they've probably got some big meaty boys in their 11 as well. So it's going to be a battle of the giants today between us and Leipzig. And we've just hit the crossbar, the post, no, the goalkeeper's fingertips with the free kick from Moreira. And now it's going to be a corner of our own. Carrier goes across to take it. And we've got our big meaty boys lining up in the middle. One of them is Moorman, but he couldn't get there ahead of the goalkeeper. He's absolutely flattened whoever that was. In fact, it is Moorman who's been flattened. That's not ideal, because we don't have massive strength in depth at centre-back. Garcia's going to take the throw. A 6'6" guy taking the long throw because we've got so many big options in the middle. Van Veen from range, but he can't keep his shot down. It remains 0-0. We're going to have to keep an eye on Moorman. Who have we got who can come on? Borches can play centre-back. I don't really want him to play centre-back. Tichy is the new centre-back who came in the summer, so he could potentially come on. Not really the circumstances in which I want him to play his first game for. So he did play in midfield in the cup game, but I don't really want him playing centre-back against a team like Leipzig this early in his Dortmund career. Big Kev's in, and Big Kev has 7 competitive goals already this season. Who needs all these new strikers? We had our dream striker all along, and his name, of course, is Kevin. Let's have a look at it from the other angle. Carrier wins the ball back, plays it out to Ferreira, plays it into Big Kev, who just picks up the ball, takes it past his man and dinks it over the goalkeeper. 1-0 to Dortmund. Schalke are top of the league at the moment, so that's a situation we need to get in there and deal with anyway. But we go in at half-time, 1-0 up. We're going to keep Moorman on because like I say, I don't think this is the game to be messing around with taking him off and trying a new boy. If this was 10 games into the season and Tichy had played a few more matches, I'd be a little bit more comfortable doing it, but not today. And Leipzig have got the equaliser from a set piece. We said it'd be about set pieces. I mean, it's not an aerial thing from set pieces. It's just a well put together move. They've slid it out to a guy in the edge of the area who stood there unmarked and just beats Ribeiro from quite a long way out. Ribeiro potentially, I mean, we talked about it a little bit last year. I was a little bit unsure of him when he first signed. He kind of won me over. I can't help but look at this team now. I think Ribeiro is probably the weak link in it. And I think if we do get a 40 or 50 million pound offer for Emil Smith-Rowe, which seems like it's unlikely, but a goalkeeper would be a thing to bring in. I'd still like Dennis Simon, but he still wants £1 million a week. So probably not going to happen. Right, we are going to bring on Tichy to play at centre-back. It's a bit of a risk, but, you know, we signed him, so we may as well use him. Connor Egan is not playing well at all. We're going to bring on Yusufa Makoko to play alongside Deda. And Carrier also not playing very well, so Bruno Herrera can come on that right-hand side, who, of course, joined us permanently from Barcelona this summer, having been here on loan last year, establishing himself as our starting right winger, and then seeing us move Carrier back out there into his spot because we signed so many strikers. So he's probably absolutely delighted that he's made that move. But here is Herrera, who's going to be keen to force himself back into the starting 11. Again, good little interplay with Big Kev there, and Herrera, when he probably should be squaring it to Makoko, shoots from range. The goalkeeper tips it over, and we've got another chance to make something from a set piece. We've got all of the big boys waiting for this corner to come in, but it's headed clear-ish. Tichy plays it back out again to Herrera. Now Tichy across to Garcia, who plays it back to Ayadeli, and now Van Veen, who should be able to beat his man and get the cross in here. Van Veen, in fact, plays it back to Ayadeli, and nothing comes of it. We'd like a winner, please. Leipzig finished 6th last year. This shouldn't be a team that we're not beating. Right, Hasan Begovic is going to come on. And we don't really have a left winger. So what we're actually going to do is put Makoko out onto the left wing. Hasan Begovic played as a striker in that cup game alongside Deda and was very, very good. And Van Veen is tiring. So Adnan Nadzak can come on and play left back. This is the guy who, at the end of the last episode, we couldn't decide what position he plays. Probably not left back, but who knows? Why not give him a try there? Part of me wants to make him an inverted wing back and do something snazzy here. But I think we'll just leave him as a standard wing back. And we've now got a pretty inexperienced defence that have never really played together before. So hopefully that doesn't cost us going into these final few moments of the match. If we can find a winner from somewhere, that'd be super duper. This hasn't quite been the blow away the opposition performance that I was hoping for from our new players and our new tactic. I mean, obviously it is a new tactic, plus half the squad are new players. So it is going to take a little bit of time for dynamics to catch up with what should be one of the best squads in the league, you would think. But I mean, team cohesion is good, but it's going to get better, isn't it? I'm a little bit disappointed about what I've just seen from Connor Egan. I feel like I've built myself up for 3 years about how good he is. I don't know why Van Veen's already tiring. Probably trying to run around with all those big boys, but we'll give him a week's holiday if that's what he needs. But Egan, hopefully, is going to play better than that the next time we see him play. because that was disappointing after all these years of waiting. I'm sure some of you are probably wondering what's going on with Burton as well. So they did finish last season in 13th place, which is the position we were in when I left. Only 42 points is the worst performance Burton have had in the Premier League since they've been there. Yeah, that was worse than that first season. So pretty disappointing. Of course, not in Europe because they finished 13th and didn't win anything. There hasn't been a huge player exodus, though, other than obviously us bringing in Van Veen. Stanis went to Marseille, but Stanis wasn't really in the plans of the manager who came in to replace me. And other than that, it was a few fringe players leaving and not really very much coming in either. It's very much still mostly my players, albeit being mutated into a hideous example of how to use them, and hopefully he gets sacked for being pathetic. But that's what's going on at Burton. I really do feel like I should rescue a few more of these boys. But this is our team for the game against Bayer Leverkusen. Of course, last season's Bundesliga champions. So it would be really rather pleasant for us to go out there and beat them. We made a couple of changes. Colombo, the new defender, coming in to play at left back with Van Veen on holiday. We're also playing Maui in central midfield, who of course was great for us last season, and Adeyemi on the left-hand side as we try a few different things, a few different combinations. We've got a lot of very good players. I don't necessarily have a settled 11 in my mind yet, because a settled 11 that doesn't include the likes of Adeyemi, Big Kev, Maui feels odd, but there's no way to have a settled 11 that includes all of them. So we're going to be trying a few different things out over these first 10 or so matches of the season before we figure out what the best 11 is. And then obviously we're going to have a lot of Champions League games, a lot of football to play anyway. So there'll be lots of rotation. And I imagine a set starting 11 won't fully emerge until we get towards the final third of the season and we're pushing for hopefully winning it all. Then we'll know who our best players are, because we need to have a best 11 in mind for that Champions League final that I've decided we're going to get to before we've even kicked a ball in the competition this year. Presumably, the route to the final is not going to be anywhere near as easy this year as it was last year, when we didn't really play anybody good until the final. And then as soon as we played them, we really did struggle. The German league isn't necessarily as good as you would hope it would be when we come up against playing teams from other nations. Carrier does very well there until the finish. It's actually gone out for a throw-in. I mean, that looked nailed on for an opening goal there. And if we can set a marker down by beating last season's champions early on while we're still settling into our new way of playing, our new players, that would be jolly good. But obviously, we need some performances from some of these new boys. I'm really looking at Connor Egan. If he misfires again, maybe Dortmund were right, and maybe he was never as good as I thought he was going to be. I still maintain if we'd have got him for Burton when he was on his way for Bayern Munich, he'd be a superstar by now. But maybe it was all a little too late for him, or maybe he's going to score a goal here. He's not. Probably should have done, but he didn't. I'm not worried yet. We spent a lot of money on him, but I'm not worried yet. It's fine. He'll come good. I'm sure he'll come good. Please come good, Connor. I feel like there's an alternate branch of history where you're a hero, and maybe there isn't. Maybe I was just fantasizing about how good he could have been when he was never going to be. But 0-0 as we head towards half-time is fine. I mean, ultimately, if we come out of this first couple of games of the season with 2 draws, it's not the end of the world. We're playing against 2 of the best teams in the league while we are at our least cohesive that we'll be in the entire season. So it does bode well for when we have to play them again if they couldn't beat us when we were presumably at our low point for the season when it comes to how well we're playing. When we come around to play them again, we should be much better and just blow them away. That's what I'm thinking. Adeyemi coming in off that left-hand side, plays it back to Maui, and now Ayadele out to Carrier. That was a lovely first-time cross. He is just superbly good. But unfortunately, Big Kev not really able to do anything with it, even though it was the kind of chance that you would think he would be eating up all day long, coming in at head height with no one challenging him. Adeyemi playing it into Carrier. He can't get proper control of the ball and looks like he's getting very cross and trying to win it back. And Adeyemi now plays it into Egan. Egan looked like he was held back, but it ended up falling clear to Big Kev, but once again, he misfires. And this was the frustration we had with Big Kev at times last year. He would get himself into good positions and look like, I mean, he looked like he should be scoring more goals than he did. We never actually looked at the stats. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he underperformed his XG last year, because he does get himself into some good positions, but sometimes despite being a physical beast, sometimes his technical stuff does let him down, his heading, his finishing. And I think we saw another example of it there. And frustration. Very much frustration at the moment. Can we do a goal, please? Maybe changing the tactic at the same time as changing half the starting 11 wasn't the smartest thing to do. Maybe. Nah, it can't be that. Blame Conor Egan. We've got a new scapegoat. Right, we're going attacking. We are going to encourage the boys. I mean, the goal might be getting disallowed here. It is disallowed. Should we leave it on attacking anyway? With a home team with half an hour to go. Let's leave it on attacking anyway. What's the worst that can happen? Leverkusen haven't had a shot, apart from that one that led to the disallowed goal. We're being thugs, but can we create something? It's been a very, I mean, as far as the neutrals are concerned, not much fun to watch. I guess Carrier, once again, struggling. He's not enjoying playing out wide in a front four, which is something for us to consider, because he's our best player. If this new system isn't going to work for him, then it doesn't really work, full stop. Makoko's coming on up front for Egan, who's been a disappointment again. I mean, and again, if Egan isn't going to play well, we don't really need to force the two strikers anyway. We could drop back to a 4-2-3-1 and even have this in mind as something to switch to further down the line and maybe establish the new players first, then figure out the new system. Moreira's going to come on the left-hand side, and then for the final change, I think we bring Nadzak on at left back again. Can we have a winning goal, please? Let's offer a little bit of encouragement. This isn't what I was hoping for today. I thought we were going to blow these two teams away and look spectacular, and it looks like that might not be the case, which would be sad. Oh, if they score here, it's very sad. But we sort of won the ball back. We won the ball back-ish, but then gave it away again, and they've had a shot from range. They were never going to score from there. It was Frimpong. I mean, he was always running in the wrong direction. For him to have a right-footed shot from there, he was never positioned right, never really got it properly onto his right foot. So I don't think there was any real danger from that at all. But Leverkusen have showed absolutely no ambition today. For a team that are the reigning champions, there's a lot to encourage us from that game, but ultimately we have started the season with no wins, which isn't ideal. We'll win some matches before we see you again, though. We'll be back in the next episode, probably with some Champions League football and hopefully some wins under our belt. And hopefully Emil Hiski will be back. This guy. Because he's the one, isn't he? Forget Egan. This is the guy. But he's embarrassed about it, bless him. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.